Hi, everyone. This is Coach Shannon from You Matter Life Coach, and I want to thank you for joining me today on a beautiful 8 o'clock in the morning Saturday, raining in Tampa, kind of a morning. I really wanted to share something that was on my heart, and I wanted to get it out there, especially with Christmas and feeling good and the spirit of the holiday. So I kind of thought about what I wanted to do, and I resonated back with John Maxwell. So last year, I joined the John Maxwell team. And as a trainer, speaker, coach, I really thought it was kind of a get rich scheme, if you will. You're just joining, you're giving money, you get the license certification, then you go out and you make a lot of money. But what I saw at the John Maxwell training really blew me away. And it was because of the authenticity of John Maxwell himself. First, he called everyone a friend. And if you know me, I call everyone a friend also. But during one of the morning sessions, it was a Sunday morning, we actually had a church service with John himself. He was a pastor at one time. And he had spoke about three different principles in his sermon that really touched me. It touched me so much that I still remember that sermon today and those notes. And I saw over maybe 300 people get saved that morning. And I knew that John was the real deal, as well as Paul Martinelli, Mark Cole. Those guys really do care about us and our future. But going back to John, that sermon that day really made me aware of how people are treated, the words that are spoken, how interactions can be life-changing or death-making. But those principles were you're mine, you're special, and you're loved. And so I thought today that I would actually incorporate his sermon with who I am so it could be my original sermon, my original thinking, my original words that will give you hope or light or a purpose going forward. So the three main points, again, they were very moving. I saw many people saved. And one thing I would have to actually say after that, if I can speak, I would say that he not only cared about them being saved, he gave every single one of them a Bible after. And those Bibles are pretty expensive, but he gifted them and said, you know what, this is the beginning of a brand new life for you. I want you to have all the resources you need so you don't fail, because I'm along the way with you. So John talked about his dad and how his dad every month would bring down the kids and he would stand them up in a line and go, you're mine, you're mine, you're mine. You're mine, you're mine, you're mine. Whose are you? You're mine, you're mine, you're mine. He basically gave them a sense of belonging, a sense of I belong to someone. I have security. I have foundation. I have togetherness. I am not going to be alone in this world, no matter the hardships, the greatness, the triumphs, the trials, the tragedies, the tears, or the hope. I belonged. I was someone's. I mattered. And that security, belonging, wholeness, family, it gave him a rationale as to say, you know what, no matter what happens in this world, it could be ugly, it could be beautiful, but no matter what, I can always reach back and go to my dad because I'm his. I'm someone's. I was my dad's. I'm mine. So imagine what that must have been like growing up, or even now in this way of life, when everyone's out for themselves and doing selfies and doing their own things in life. Imagine if you had someone that believed in you, that cheered for you, encouraged you, gave you accountability. Wow, I can't imagine that. It's very rare to see. And when you do see it, you need to applaud it. But all of those adjectives and those words together, it gave ownership. And so for me specifically, now this is what I'm speaking at, I didn't have that dream. I didn't have that you're mine mentality. Excuse me, I do have a cold right now. My life was totally opposite. My mom and my dad got divorced when I was 2 weeks old, and we lived in a car, then a trailer. My mom was working 3 jobs just to survive, and pay rent and utilities or have food on the table. I was never told I was anyone's. At that point, I slept mostly underneath my bed. I was out in the streets because I didn't want to be at home. And it all changed, that sense of not belonging, that sense of hopelessness. It changed to hopefulness when I went to Grand Avenue Baptist Church in Arkansas. That point, that summer, was the first time I ever heard the word Jesus. I got saved. I literally felt the most peace and calm of my entire life. That I belonged in a sense of togetherness and family. And that was the day, for the first time in my life, I felt like you're mine. I went from a nobody to a somebody. And that's basically what happened to me in that transformation. When I found God, I literally became someone's. I became his. And that moment of hope, that togetherness, that family has stayed with me since I was 14. Granted, I did a lot of bad things after I went back home. I was the only believer. I kind of walked off and on a relationship with God for so long. And then, finally it was like so many bad choices and bad decisions. I was like, you know what? Every sinner can become a saint. Every saint was once a sinner. We all mess up, but is it a repeated pattern? Do we eventually decide to choose to do better with our lives? Do we do the straight and narrow, or we do the ways of the world? In 2008, I found some friends. 2007, but in 2008, found some friends at the very end, and we started going to church. And that's when I truly found my way and my purpose and who I was again. And from there, the last 10 years, man, it's been on an upward trajectory of hope, of love, and of wholeness and healing. And that's what I want from you. I want you to believe in yourself, that you're somebody, that you matter, that you were born on this place for a reason. Why? Because it's you. There's only one of you in this entire world. Did you know that? Your DNA, your experiences, your laughter, your voice, your who you are, incorporated and fabricated into one being, soul, spirit, mind. It's you. So celebrate that, my friends. Celebrate it. Because because you were made for a reason. So know your mind can be true. If you never had the experience of John Maxwell with his dad, know that you can have that experience now. Okay, so the next one, you're special. I think this was pretty good because, I never felt like I was special. I always felt kind of like, I was just Shannon. But it all changed. But let me tell you John's story first. So imagine at a dinner table, they're sitting down, and every single night, John said he talks with his kids to get them to creatively think, to believe in themselves, to encourage. And they would always talk about people's strengths and gifts rather than their weaknesses. Why? Because, as much as you want to improve your weakness, it will never be 100%. You'll always have a weakness because it's a weakness. But if you have a natural gift, you strengthen that, you build upon that, you really hone that, you polish that. And then that strength's just going to be extraordinary in the mundane and the ordinary. So he would always capitalize strengths, their gifts, how special they are, how they're only one of them in the entire world. And he encouraged them to focus on their strengths instead of their weaknesses. Because you know what? You want to highlight what you're good and what you're great at, rather than highlight what you're not so good and great at. And so for me, I didn't have that, like I said. I had a few specks of light when people told me I was good at something, usually in sports, but most people spoke death in my life. I remember to this day when I was 14 years old in high school, and I had not eaten for like a day and a half, and I was starving. No one would give me money, and for some reason, I don't know why I did it, but I just got into the lunch line, and got some pizza. Next thing you know, I'm in the principal's office, and the principal goes, "You will never amount to anything in this life. Do you hear me? You will never amount to anything." You know, those words of death have haunted me and stayed with me since I was 14, and I'm now 42. Yes, 42. But you know what? The power of words, the power of a tongue can give someone hope in life, or it can actually take away and give them death and destruction. We have so many kids nowadays that are committing suicide. We have adults committing suicide because everyone's so unhappy and lost and sad because this world is so tough. Why do we want to make it tougher on people and hard? Why can't we give people hope in life and help them, reach their biggest and most beautiful potential? Because you know what? Most of us are looking in. What can I get out of the equation? Rather than looking out and asking someone, how can I help you achieve your best life? So my strengths, what I knew I was good at. I knew I was good at organizing. I was good at leading. Christian just left out the door. And I tended to do those things I was good at because I didn't have much thought. I just, hey, it needed to be done. Let's do it. And I did it. And usually it would actually turn out really well. So I started capitalizing on that more and more and more. And then after I became a Christian life coach, I really honed in my spiritual gifts. I didn't know what a spiritual gift was. I knew I was good at organizing and leading, but I really didn't fundamentally understand what a spiritual gift was. And once you become a Christian, a believer, you have the Holy Spirit resonating in you, and you actually have the Spirit. It's a spiritual gift. Well, after realizing, all the different spiritual gifts out there, it was like mind blowing. I couldn't even remember all the different things that were out there until Pastor Ed told me something, and it stayed with me. And I actually took down my notes because I think it's very, very vital that all of us know our spiritual gifts. And that's how it goes back to, ties into how special you are. You are so special. Do you hear me? There's only one of you. Like I said before, you're mine, you're his, but you know what? You're also so beautifully, authentically, magically created. You're made in a way no one else is. So special. Let's find out how special you are, because I know what I am. So I'm going to give you an analogy, like kind of like a metaphor. And I'm just going to go through kind of the main topics of the spiritual gifts. But I'm going to use a bike and say, here's a teacher, and here's Mary. And Mary's just a little girl getting a bike. And this teacher is going to tell Mary every single part of the bike, dealing with the spiritual gifts. So I'm going to start with mercy. I'm looking down on my notes on this, but I want to get this right. Mercy. So it's ministering the truth. Okay, so here's a bike. Oh, Mary, I know it's scary to learn how to ride a bike. I know it can be really scary. I was scared when I learned. But you know what, Mary? I'll be here for you. I got the bandages and the medicine and everything that you need just in case you fall, Mary. But you got to try. And guess what? I have a popsicle at the end. So you ministered the truth to Mary. So now here's a leadership example for a bike. This is what I always thought I was good at and what was my gift until I did my study. So studying is important. Preparation is key. Preparation meets purpose. Boom. Okay, there you go. Okay, so leadership. You are organizing the truth. Mary, it's time to learn how to ride a bike. Before you start, I need to give you these instructions, these directions, what to do and how to do. And now, Mary, you need to go. So its leadership is very kind of like directing. You don't have time for fluff. You basically give them the tools to succeed, and then you say go, because it's empowering. You know what? This is my end goal. You need to learn how to ride a bike, blah, 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 go. Leadership is empowering. If they fail, you bring them back and you correct and you teach them. But if they succeed, you celebrate. So leadership. The next one is giving. It's called supporting the truth. Mary, this looks like a beat up bike. But you know what? I got your own brand new bike, Mary. So you know what's giving? It's supporting the truth. You generously just give out of your heart. It's something that cannot be replicated. You just either have it or you don't. So for me, a lot of people think I have the giving spirit, and I really don't. But my love language is acts of service. Like that's who I fundamentally am, acts of service. But getting off topic, here I go. So we also have love languages that we can talk about next time. So maybe I'll do that next week. Okay, so now you have teaching, explaining the truth. Mary, this is a bicycle. Do you know what a bicycle is, Mary? Let me tell you everything you need to know about the bicycle. Here's the tires, here's the handle, here's the brakes, here's the spokes, this is the chain. Now that you know everything about the bicycle, Mary, now you need to sit down. Do you know how to sit down, Mary? Let's get you on. Now, Mary, this is how you pedal. Do you know how to pedal, Mary? Okay. Now that you know every single thing about this bike, go. And you go have fun, Mary. And so that is teaching. So it's fundamentally like A to Z, you do not miss anything. You cover all basics. So then that way you even teach them how to ride the bike. Not just here's the bike, but you actually give them everything that they need to succeed. Then you have prophecy, declaring the truth. Mary, here's your bicycle. Get on it and ride it. You can do it, and whatever you do, don't fall off. See you later, Mary. That's basically you are declaring the truth. This is a bike you will get on and you will succeed. I'll see you later. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so the next one is exhortation. And this is applying the truth. And after doing all the studies, this is how I fundamentally know what my spiritual gift is. So come on, Mary, you can ride this bike. I'm so proud of you. Just even get on. Way to go, Mary. Okay, Mary, so now that you're on the bike, you know what? Now it's time to go. Mary, I'm not going to leave your side. I'm going to run right up by you while you pedal, just in case you fall off, because I want to push you on to greatness. And also, if you fall off, I'll be right there with you to help you get back on, Mary. So that's exhortation. It's encouraging, yet it's also exhorting. So applying the truth. So now that I know how special I am with how I was created, not just, who I fundamentally am with my gifts and my talents, but I also know my spiritual gift of exhortation. So now we're going to go on to the last part. You are loved. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this. There were several times when John messed up. Yeah, I call him John. It's weird. John Maxwell. He's everyone's friend. So there were a couple times when John Maxwell messed up, and he would get in trouble. And his dad and his mom would go and talk with him and let him know how he messed up, what his mistake was, punish him, but then also stay with him and affirm to him how much he was loved. They didn't just hurt him by giving him all this things to do better in corrective action. They stood by his side and let him know why the mistake happened, his part, what can they do to correct it, but then to also stand by his side and know no matter what, he is loved. It was so powerful. And let me go back. John knew how much he was loved, even when it was bad and he didn't deserve love. How many times for us have we done something bad and people have just shunned us, didn't forgive us when they say they love us unconditionally? It hurts. I'm guilty. I'm a repeat offender. If people, mess up, I'm kind of like, stoic. But you know what? That resonated with me so much about the love, the forgiving love, the agape love, the unconditional love, that no matter how bad life can get, you will always have a champion in your corner. You will always feel loved rather than not. And like I said, for me, I didn't have the same experience. I didn't feel that growing up. I felt like I wasn't loved. I was more of a burden. And isn't this world, don't we all just want to be loved? Don't we all just want someone to hold us and say it's going to be okay? Don't we all just want to feel like connected, not ostracized? Don't we all just want to feel that no matter what happens in life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we will always have someone by our side loving us even when we don't deserve it? That's powerful. And that's what I experienced when I found Jesus. Excuse me, like I said, I'm sick. That's how I felt when I found Jesus. I know no matter what happens in this life, I have a friend. I have a friend that I could talk to, that I can cry with, I can share with, I can yell at, I can say I don't agree. God, I need it now. I want it now. I can give him everything because he already knows anyway. But even despite all the pain and the hardship, even when I'm mad at him and I've yelled, he has never forsaken me. He's never turned away from me. He's never left my side. He's never left my heart. He loves me. And man, in my darkest moments, when my daughter and I fought, when Christian and I have fought, or in the pain of my mother and my sister, and even my principal, those people that have supposed to love me the most and weren't there for me, I always had him. And that's what I grasp onto, and that's what I want for you. No matter what, he'll always be by your side because you're his, and you're special, and you're loved. And I want you to know that. But more importantly, I want you to believe that, and I want you to accept it with all of you. So I'm going to read this and then we'll sum it up because I think this kind of encapsulates everything that I wanted to talk about today. As his precious child, we may or may not have earthly parents like I didn't, that made you feel like you belonged, how special you were, and how much you were loved. But please know we have God, our Heavenly Father. And imagine God saying this to you. You're mine. I made you. I gave you life. I knew you ever before you were thought of. You're special. I gifted you with natural talents and skills that no one else in the world has. There may be 6 billion plus people in the world, but there's only one of you. You're special. And then you're loved. You matter. You are my child. No one could replace you. I love you so much. These words may be small in number, but they're significant in meaning. No matter what happens, I want you to take this. And these are, now my notes are done. This is going to come from my heart. Grasp onto that. I know in my loneliest times, I grasped on, and he helped me overcome. I know when people that were supposed to love me didn't, I grasped on to that meaning, that hope to him. I know when my best friend in the whole world, my person, found out she lied to me twice and kept things from me. It hurt me more than anyone else in this world, but you know what? I grasped on, I held on. And in those moments when I didn't feel like I was worthy, when I was good enough, when I was scared, I would mess up, when people didn't like me just because of who I am, they shunned me for being me. They made me feel bad about being me. In the end, I realized I'm not a doormat. I know boundaries and I know my worth. I was now going to remove myself from their clearance rack and put myself back on full price because you know what? I am special and so are you. Don't ever let anyone make you feel bad for being who you are. If they can't handle you at your worst, then friend, they don't deserve you at your best. Remember that. All of us are different. All of us should be accepting. All of us should be loving one another. There's too much pain in this world, too many suicides, too many finger pointing. We need to be all in this together, band together as a family, because we are a family. Every single one of us are here for a reason and a purpose. Once we understand that and help each other reach their potential, our best, our greatest, life will be so much more better. You won't have so much pain out there. You'll have hope. You'll have people helping one another. And I'll end with this. This is something that's on my heart. We have one life. By the time, we're 18, we have lived under our parents' roof. 18 years of our life's over. Then we go to college or we start a job. Maybe when you're done with that, job, and you're meeting new people, and next thing you know, you're 30 to 35, and then you're getting married and you're starting your own family. Right now I'm 42. Life has flown by. I'm just now getting in my groove. When I became a life coach in 2012, that's who I fundamentally became, my purpose, my passion. And now at any given time, we can get cancer, we could break a leg, we could get fired from a job, we could get laid off, we could, fights with our family and our friends, or, be at church and not feel like we're connected. There's so many possibilities, but we're now just getting on our groove. That's what I'm trying to say. And then next thing you know, you're 50, then 60, then 70, and your life's over. And by the time you look back at your life, you're going to be like, wow, what did I did? Where did the time go? Did I make a difference? Did this world even know I existed? How did Mother, Nature, USA, the world even know I was here? Did I help someone? Or did I help someone more than myself? When you look back on your last breath, on your dying day, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow, today could be it. You need to ask yourself, do I have any regrets? Did I accomplish my bucket list? Did I love unconditionally no matter what? Did I speak more life than death? Did I help more than I hurt? Did I turn my mess into a message? Ask yourself those questions when you think today how you're mine, you're special, and you're loved. Have you even made a positive difference in this world? And when you take your last breath, if you have done what you're supposed to be doing and why you're here, you will hear, well done, good and faithful servant. You're mine, you're special, and you're so loved. I love you guys. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for just cheering me on and my purpose and my passion for, I want to do this full time. I just want to encourage people full time. I wish it was a job or a life coach full time and actually get paid for it, because I truly believe in people and I want to see them succeed, because that's what matters to me in my life. I want to help you because you are so special to me. You matter, guys. Thank you for joining me today on this Saturday. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful day. And know, I love you. You Matter Life Coach. Saturday. You're mine. You're special. You're loved. Bye, guys.